Hey everyone, and welcome, 8th graders, to this explainer on the foundations and pathways of linear equations. I am so glad you're joining me today. We're going to explore how we can use math, not just to, pass a test, but to actually understand the paths we build in our everyday lives. It's really all about foundations, directions, and ultimately where we're heading. So think about this for a second. How do you map out your future? Seriously, if you want to save up for a new phone, or maybe figure out how far you can travel in a certain amount of time, how do you actually visualize that progress? We're constantly planning and predicting things, and today we're going to learn the exact mathematical tool used to create that map. There's actually a beautiful parallel to this in Scripture. Psalm 37, verse 5 says, "Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act." Just as God sets a foundation and a path for our personal and spiritual growth, linear equations give us a way to visually map out our practical progress in the real world. Both require a solid starting point, and both require a clear direction. Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the big idea. The absolute main takeaway here is that knowing how things begin and how they change isn't just some boring math requirement. It's a fundamental life skill. Whether you're tracking your savings account week by week, planning out your study schedule, or measuring the distance of a family road trip, you're using the concepts of linear equations. Understanding your starting foundation and measuring how your daily choices and habits build upon it, that's what helps you predict and plan for the future.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, breaking down the blueprint.
Grab those notebooks, because here is how we actually build that map. It's called the Slope-Intercept Form. Y equals mx plus b. This equation right here, it's your simple, perfect blueprint for viewing a straight line on a graph. It's literally the golden key that unlocks how we translate a real-life situation onto a coordinate plane. Let's look at the pieces of this puzzle. The equation is made of two main components that you absolutely need to master. First, we have m, which stands for the slope. You can think of this as the rate of change, how fast you're moving, how steep a hill is, or how much money you're stashing away each week. Second, we have b, which is the y-intercept. This is exactly where your line crosses the y-axis. So the crucial point is, b is your starting foundation, your day zero, and m is the action you take to move forward from there. But wait, there's a really strict rule we have to follow here. The equation must be in this exact format, meaning y has to be completely by itself on one side before you can identify your slope and your y-intercept. For instance, look at the equation 2y equals x plus 6. We can't just glance at that and say our y-intercept is 6. The y isn't alone. It's got a 2 attached to it. To resolve this and fit our perfect blueprint, we just divide everything by 2. 2y divided by 2 is y, 1x divided by 2 is 1/2 x, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our true equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Only now can we confidently say our slope is a half and our starting foundation, our y-intercept, is 3. Let's jump into Section 3, graphing different pathways. Now that we know how to read the blueprint, let's take it over to the coordinate plane. When we graph lines, the slope dictates the direction, and it all boils down to rise over run. A positive slope means your pathway goes upward. As you move to the right, you rise up. A negative slope means your pathway goes downward. As you move to the right, you drop down. But remember, no matter which direction you're heading, you always start by plotting your y-intercept first. That is your home base. Okay, let's look at 3 different types of pathways side by side: an increasing line, a decreasing line, and a completely flat line. And this brilliantly illustrates how just tweaking the m and the b completely alters our trajectory on the graph. Let's break each one down step by step. First up, example 1, the increasing pattern. Our equation here is y equals 2x plus 1. Following our blueprint, what's our foundation? It's the positive 1. So we go to our graph and put a dot right on the y-axis at 0, 1. That's where we start. Now what's our movement? Our slope is a positive 2. Remember, that's just a fraction of 2 over 1. So from our starting dot, we rise upward 2 units, and we run 1 unit to the right. Up 2, right 1. We place our next dot, draw a line straight through them, and watch our pathway soar upward. Next, let's look at example 2, the decreasing pattern. Our equation is y equals negative 3x plus 6. Where do we begin? At the positive 6. We place our starting dot high up on the y-axis at 0, 6. But look at our slope this time. It's a negative 3. That means our rate of change is dropping. So from our starting point at 6, we go down 1, 2, 3 units and then run 1 unit to the right. Down 3 over 1. Connect the dots and you'll see a really clear, steep downward path. Finally, example 3, the flat line. Our equation is simply y equals 5. Now you might be wondering, where on earth is the x?
Well, if there's no x, it means our slope, Rm, is exactly 0. 0 times x is just 0. Our y-intercept is 5, so we start at 0, 5 on the y-axis. And because the slope is 0, we don't rise at all. We just run. It creates a perfectly stable horizontal line that just stays flat at y equals 5, stretching endlessly from left to right.
All right, moving to section 4, practice time. Okay, you've seen how to read the blueprint and build these paths. Now it's your turn. Here are your 5 homework questions. Your mission is simple. Look at each equation and write down the slope and the y-intercept. 1. Y equals 4x minus 7. 2. Y equals negative x plus 3. 3. Y equals 0.5x plus 2. 4. Y equals negative 6. And 5. Y equals 2x. I want you to go ahead and pause this explainer right now. Write these 5 equations down in your notebook and confidently tackle them using the y equals mx plus b blueprint we just mastered. Keep an eye out for lines that might be flat or lines that might start right at 0. Go ahead, you've totally got this. And finally, section 5, the ultimate equation. Great job working through those practice problems, but let's step back from the graph paper for a moment. As part of the Heroes Smart Academy Godly Learner series, we firmly believe that education without morality hurts. I mean, ask yourself, what is the point of being incredibly smart, of knowing all the math formulas, of being highly educated if you continue to make bad choices that hurt yourself and the people around you? Your intelligence is kind of like your slope. It's how fast you can move. But your morality, your character, that's your y-intercept. It's your foundation. If your foundation is broken, it doesn't matter how fast you climb. The whole graph is going to be completely out of place. And that brings us to Romans chapter 8, verses 6 through 7, which promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. This is our experience, and it's the experience we see when people truly commit to building a solid foundation. As you map out your future, absolutely use your education to climb higher, but let a spiritual, moral foundation be your starting point. It's the only way to ensure the path you draw brings lasting peace. So as you look at the coordinate plane of your own life, what kind of foundation are you starting from? And what direction will you choose to run? Keep charting a great path, and I'll see you in the next explainer.